Hello and welcome to another video from Advertise for Profit. Today we're actually going to cover off something a little different. I'm going to explain how you can measure your advertising and your whole business correctly and work out how much you can afford to spend on advertising based on how much you make per sale. We're going to look at something called the leverage formula. Now this helps you look at all the different profit areas that directly affect your cash flow in your business. Most businesses don't have a good understanding of this. They think customers times sales equals profits, but it's far more involved than that. I'm going to show you how to measure everything so that you can see which areas of your business you can actually adjust to increase your profits. And this formula applies to any type of business, so it doesn't matter if it's online, offline. We're also going to look at some enhancements to the formula when it comes to marketing online or an online business. There's a bit more to measure, so we're going to cover that off too. Now there's actually 5 different areas you can tweak in your business to increase your profits. The first thing you want to measure is the number of leads, and then if you times that by the conversion rate, which is how many people actually purchased, that's going to give you the number of customers. Now on this formula you can see already customers is in green, and that's because that's something you can't directly alter. It's the result of the formula. It's an output. So if you want to increase the number of customers, you actually need to increase your number of leads and then also increase your conversion rate, and that'll result in more customers. And then you take your customers and times that by the number of transactions. So let's say a customer buys from you twice a year. That's your average number of transactions. You want to times that by the average sale, and that's going to also give you an output, which is the amount of revenue, so the amount of income you've got coming into the business. Then you want to work out what your margins are. So take out all the expenses, that kind of stuff, and you can work out what your margins are. Times that by revenue, and that's going to give you the profits. So remember, the areas in green here are outputs. You can't change them. You want to focus on the 5 areas in blue to change the values and actually increase your profits. So let's look at some examples of that. Let's say over the year your business had 4,000 customers. 4,000 leads, and a conversion rate, let's say, of 25%, right? So 1 in 4 of those people actually buy something from you. That's going to give you 1,000 customers. Now let's say the average transactions is probably twice a year, and the average sale, to make things easy, let's make it $100. So that's going to give you a revenue of 200,000. So it's 1,000 times 2 times 100, and then let's say your margins about 25%. That's pretty average for most businesses. That's going to give you a profit of 50 grand a year. Now, if we tweak some of these areas in blue, we can have a huge impact on the profits. So if, for example, if we were to increase every area by 10%, which is pretty easy to do, our profit isn't going to just be increased by 10%, because these are multiplied together. It's actually going to grow on more of an exponential curve. So let's have a look. Let's increase our leads by 10%. That's going to give us 4,400 leads. So let's increase our customers by 10% and get 4,400. Let's increase the conversion rate by 10%. That's going to give us 27.5%. And that is going to equal 1,210 customers. So let's increase the number of average sales transactions to 2.2. That's another 10% there. And we'll increase our average sale to 110. So add another 10% there. So straight away we can see, as a result, our revenue's now jumped to $292,820. So that's more than a 10% increase there. But then even further, when we look at our margins, we'll increase that to 27.5. Then our profit jumps to 80,000. So that's a $30,000 increase just by increasing the 5 areas in our formula by 10%. And like I said, it's quite easy to do that. 10% is not an unachievable goal. So when we're looking at the internet marketing side, there's a couple of things we need to include at the front of the formula to work out the number of leads. And then also that helps us when we get the full picture to work out what our average cost per customer is and how much we can actually spend on our advertising to keep within that profitable range. Now the enhanced formula, when you're running advertising like banner ads, for example, or ads on Facebook or Google, when your ad gets displayed, that's called an impression. Okay, so an impression is how many times that banner has been shown to a user on the site. Okay, so when you're looking at the stats, for example, in Facebook, they even show you a frequency amount. So you can see, you know, that ad might be shown to the customer 20 times before they actually click on it. Okay, so what you want to do is measure the impressions, divide that by how many people actually click on the ad for that same time period, and that's going to give you your click-through rate. So how much can you afford to spend when getting a customer? Well, you want to work out the average visitor value, and the way you do that is gross sales divided by unique visitors. So that's going to give you your earnings per click. So let's do an example. Let's say you got 100 clicks on your banner ad, and out of that you got 2 sales, right? So your click-through rate is going to be 2%. Now, as I said before, click-through rate is important when it comes to advertising. For example, on Facebook ads, the higher your click-through rate, the cheaper cost per click Facebook give you. An example, recently I ran an advertising campaign and I had a really broad targeting approach, and I was, targeting 1 million people around Australia, and I got a low click-through rate because the ad wasn't really relevant to a lot of those users, and as a result, Facebook were charging me almost $3 per click. I think I was paying $2.80 per click. So I retargeted my ad to a much smaller niche, got my reach down to about 2,000 people instead of 1 million, and my click-through rate was a lot higher, which actually meant Facebook started only charging me 30 cents per click. So it's a big saving. So that's one of the reasons why you really want to measure your click-through rate, because you can actually reduce the cost. So let's say our 2 sales, we got $50 from our offer on each sale. It's from our affiliate offer. That's going to give us $100. So now we can work out the average visitor value, which is going to be $100 in sales divided by 100 visitors. So our earnings per click is $1. Okay, so when it comes to our advertising spend, we don't want to spend more than $1 on a click because our earning per click is only $1. So let's have a look at that as an example. If I switch to the example I used before in another video, this is a cost per action offer I'm running at the moment with my banners campaign, and I'm comparing it to an organic traffic results that I'm getting just from people visiting my website and clicking on the link. So this first one here in yellow, you can see that this is my organic campaign. Okay, so I get about 20 to 30 hits on my website a day, and out of that a few people click on my banner. So over this period from July the 1st to August 21st, I got 279 clicks. That gave me 6 sales, I get $50 per sale, so that gave me $300. The actual amount that they purchased was only $444. So my sale conversion rate is 2.1%. Okay, my leads conversion rate is, I got 9 leads, and so that's 3.2%. Now in this offer, it's a cost per action, so a lead is someone who opts in for the free trial of the product. When they actually purchase later on at the end of the free trial, I still get paid $50. That's why it's a cost per action. I get paid on the action, not just the sale. So this is pretty good. And from the 279 clicks and 6 sales, I can work out that, okay, my earnings per click is $1.08. So if I want to move this campaign to Facebook or Google Plus or Google, I want to make sure I'm not paying more than $1.08. Okay, otherwise I'm going to make no profit. And again, here below that is my 2 banner broker campaigns for the same offer. So I'm running 2 different campaigns targeting 2 different areas. The first one has been going the longest, and it's got 124 clicks. I actually made 3 sales out of that and 6 leads. So out of that, I made $150 on top of what my banners broker advertising space I'm renting out is making me. And so I've got a higher earnings per click here, which is interesting, and that's probably because, you know, people are going to my website looking at other things. Not everyone's interested in clicking on the banner ad that I have, and you know, they might be buying other products off me or calling me directly. But the banner ad is a bit more effective because, you know, people see straight away the ad. Oh, I'm interested in that. I'm going to click on it. Okay. And then this second one down here is the newest one I just recently started. I've only had 21 clicks, but I've actually got 2 sales already. It's got a much higher earnings per click. So if I was going to move either of these campaigns over to Facebook or Google, I'd want to at least get my cost per click under $1. And obviously this campaign here, I could spend up to $3, but certainly if I keep my cost per click down, I'm going to get a much higher profit. But you know, if I needed to, I could spend, you know, $4 and I'd still make a profit. But I'd prefer to keep it really low. So that's a real life example of, you know, how you can use Banners Broker to kind of test your marketing campaigns before you start actually spending a lot of money on advertising them. You want to make sure you can work out your earnings per click. Thank you for your time. If you want more information, you can always visit us at advertisetoprofit.com. We're still building the website, but there is an opt-in form if you want to join the newsletter, and actually we'll email you out when new videos go up on YouTube. Or you can just subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/advertise to profit. Also, at the top left and top right, so at the start of every video on the top left there's a little annotation which will take you to the previous YouTube video, and at the end of each video there's now an annotation on the top right, so you can also click to the next one in the series. And yeah, email me any feedback, just hit us up on the website or send me a message on YouTube if you've got any questions or there's something you'd like some training on. I should have another Banners Broker video for you in the next few days, so stay tuned. Thanks for your time today. Thank you. Have a great day.